Good afternoon. I'm sorry I cannot be there with you, but I tested positive in my COVID test for my flight to the US, so I have to cancel all my travel plans to SSA. I'm going to present you an analysis we are conducting on the impact of outreach activities conducted by the National Seismological Service in Mexico. Mexico is a highly seismic active country, where a magnitude 7 happens every other year. From the catalog of the last 122 years, we notice that there are 10 pairs of events that have happened within a month apart. Given this high level of seismic activity, it is imperative for the people to be prepared. A good preparation involves knowledge about the phenomenon. Therefore, effective communication to the public is essential. The National Seismological Service, or SSN, is operated by the Institute of Geophysics of the National Autonomous University of Mexico. The university has three priorities: research, education, and outreach. Based on this, on 2014, the SSN updated its objectives. One of them now is to establish and maintain a program for the dissemination and outreach of seismology, and its vision is to become a reference in outreach in seismology. The way to communicate to the public has evolved since 1998, when the first webpage came online. Its main purpose was reporting the seismicity. 11 years later, the SSM ventured in social media, opening a Twitter account. This became the main channel for earthquake reporting, and the account now has more than 4.7 million followers, making it the most popular account related to earthquake seismology or academia. In 2012, the Facebook page was created. Originally, it only reported the seismicity and eventually became also a channel for outreach. In September 2017, it went from 200,000 followers to 2 million. And now it has almost 3.2 million followers. YouTube and Instagram accounts were opened in 2016 and 2021 respectively. They have very few followers compared to the other social media and are only used for outreach material. As I mentioned, Twitter is only used to post earthquake reports, which can be in real time, for earthquakes with magnitude larger than 4, or for those events that are widely felt. For example, those that happen within Mexico City. The rest of the events are reported in 2 reports during the day, one at 8 a.m. in the morning and the other one at 8 p.m. in the afternoon. Initially, Facebook only reported the seismicity in a similar way than Twitter did. However, it evolved to be the main outreach channel of the SSN. Nowadays, you can find videos of the weekly or monthly seismicity, about some historic earthquakes or the history of the SSN. There's also some infographic material about various topics, and the eventual live conferences and the monthly program that it's a live stream that is called Chatting with a Seismologist, or in Spanish, Platicando con un Seismólogo. This program is a monthly series of Facebook Live where the SSN invites a seismologist to answer the viewers' questions in real time. There's no topic pre-selected, and the conversation goes wherever the public takes it. I should say it's almost like an exam to the seismologist. The first episode of the program was on June 1st, 2017, and this was before the big September earthquakes hit the country. The objectives of the program are to improve communication with the public by having a dialogue instead of a lecture and addressing directly their questions and concerns. There has been 42 episodes in total since then. In these 2 graphs, you can appreciate the evolution of the viewers' participation. On the left, you have the number of viewers, and on the right, the comments, shares, and reactions. And the first 2 events were an experiment where the analysts were responding to the audience. The high number of viewers and comments received for this particular event push forward the project of the program. In red lines, you can see when the magnitude 7 or larger hit in the last 5 years. It can be seen that right after the September 2017 earthquakes, the program had its peak in viewers and also in interactions. Also, it can be seen that late in 2019 and early 2020, the number of viewers had decreased and increased again after the June 23, 2020 earthquake, and again after the September 8, 2021 quake. Right after these events, the number of comments also increased significantly, suggesting the interest of the people on getting information. 61% of the live program viewers are women, and the program is more popular about people aged 25 to 34. Viewers come from half of the states in Mexico, those that are more seismically active, and the program also gets viewers from other countries in Central and South America, but also from the US, Italy, and France. To analyze the impact of the program and evaluate the topics the SSN need to cover in its outreach material, we conducted a survey where the participants were invited through its social networks and webpage. In total, we received 1,484 surveys. Most participants are between 24 and 44 years old, and they have concluded their bachelor's studies. We got responses from all the Mexican states, mainly from Mexico City and the state of Mexico, and 11 surveys came from overseas. We asked people how they got information about seismology, and most of them answered that they did through documentaries and TV shows. The majority was aware of the social media of the SSN, mainly Facebook and Twitter, and followed them, but very few were aware of the YouTube and Instagram accounts and followed them. From the total of survey, less than 20% knew about the program of chatting with a seismologist, and from those, only 23% haven't watched it. Surprisingly, there were at least 9 people that have watched more than 16 episodes. Only 15% of the viewers have made questions through the live program. Then we went to the transcripts of the 42 episodes, and within those we looked for a list of keywords to find out which topics have been the most interest to the viewers. The words were grouped into the following topics: type of earthquake, duration, relation to the zone activity, relation with the weather, time of the year. This means if there is a season for earthquakes, or if the earthquakes happen predominantly in a month, about aftershocks, prediction, animals, behavior, tsunamis, early warning, earthquake size, plate tectonics, earthquake sequences or swarms, or other topics. We observed that people questions are mostly related to plate tectonics and earthquake size, which can be related to the level of studies of the audience. In contrast, the third most common topic is related to the season or month when earthquakes happen. In Mexico, it's believed that September is the earthquake month after the 1985 and 2017 earthquakes hit in September. The plot at the bottom shows the frequency for a particular word. It is interesting to notice that in the first live, where the analyst responded, the most common word was magnitude, while for the live right after the September 2017 earthquakes, the most common words were sun and September. I already mentioned the earthquake month belief, But another aspect that became popular in Mexico after the September 8th event and 8.2 intraplate earthquake was that this event was the result of the sun activity. This was spread by a YouTuber that gained lots of popularity due to this statement. Going back to the survey, we asked the participants what they have learned from the program, and this is hard to interpret since maybe they haven't learned because they already knew some of the stuff given the level of studies that they reported. We then tested people's knowledge, not only to those from those that have declared they have watched at least one program, but to all the people that responded to the survey. It was satisfactory to see that most people knew that plate tectonics has an important role in earthquake generation, but it was very discouraging to see some misconceptions have perdured despite our outreach efforts. One that has transmitted through generations of Mexicans is the belief that earthquakes are classified into oscillatory and trepidatory. Those two terms describe the horizontal and vertical motion, respectively, produced by the waves at the surface. However, somehow, many decades ago, these terms were picked up by the press as a way to classify earthquakes, and they have become popular in Mexico. In other topics, despite the majority knows the right answer, there are still people that believe in myths, such as there are more earthquakes due to global warming, or that the solar activity influenced the occurrence of earthquakes. These results point to topics that SSN need to emphasize in its communication and outreach programs and materials. For example, given these results in the last Chatting with a Seismologist last month, nobody asked about how the earthquakes are classified. Then the moderator asked the seismologist in turn about it, and the SSN generated material that was posted in the social network to strengthen the concept and debunk the myth. To conclude, the SSN social networks reach a large number of people, making them an ideal media for outreach. People seek information after significant earthquakes, and we can take advantage of this. Posting information might not be enough. We need to engage with people to know what their needs are and what kind of information they are looking for. Evaluation of Platicando con un Sismólogo or Chatting with a Seismologist has allowed us to identify topics that people are interested on, but also that we need to reinforce to debunk myths. Some of the actions that we are planning is to generate more materials on the identified topics and to establish strategies if a significant earthquake occurs, because that's when people is looking for more information. With that, I thank you for listening to this talk, and if you have any questions or comments, you can reach me by email or Twitter.